Welcome back to Midnight Oil, the show where we unwrap the mysteries of history, science, and culture. I'm Tab.
And I'm Keeg. Tonight, we're diving into the sparkling history of Christmas. From ancient feasts to modern traditions, it's a holiday with deeper roots than you might think.
Ever wondered how a Roman winter festival turned into a global celebration of trees, tinsel, and Santa?
Or how some of the quirkiest traditions like stockings and eggnog became holiday staples.
Here's something to think about. What holiday figure inspired Santa Claus but didn't actually wear red? We'll spill the cocoa later in the episode. Let's get into
Ho ho ho!
it.
Tab, we're doing Christmas!
Yeah.
Ho ho ho!
Happy holidays, everybody. This episode should be getting published on actual Christmas Day. But if you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays.
That's right, 'tis the season, and we have decided that, it's easy to do just one episode on a holiday, right? But 'tis the season. We're gonna do two. So make sure you also catch the Friday episode. And you could also tell I'm not sick anymore. Woohoo! No more
Woohoo!
sickness. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm so excited. I love Christmas. Well, I more so love the vibe of Christmas.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But let's do it.
So let's kick things off by going way back, like ancient times back, to look at where our modern Christmas traditions might have been started. So, before Christmas was even a thing, everybody was already throwing winter parties. Of course, they were celebrating like Good Harvest, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure we already talked about that kind of in Thanksgiving. So, everybody was already throwing these. But one of the biggest ones was Saturnalia, a Roman festival celebrating Saturn, which was the god of agriculture. So, this was basically the OG holiday party. It was a week long festival filled with feasting, singing, and gift giving. And here's an interesting thing that I found: the slave owners would actually serve their slaves for the day. So they had social roles reversed during that whole celebration. I thought that was crazy. So the gift giving wasn't just about generosity, it was actually meant to bring good luck and prosperity for the coming year. The Romans weren't the only ones who knew how to celebrate, though. Up in Scandinavia, the Norse were partying up with Yule, which was their winter solstice festival. Which, actually, funny enough, the winter solstice falls on the 21st, and that was my birthday.
Happy birthday!
So it's now winter solstice. Happy Yule, everybody, as well. So Yule actually gives more recognizable Christmas vibes. So Yule was all about feasts, logs, and they even decorated trees. So they would burn a massive Yule log to symbolize light returning after the darkest days of the year. Plus, they decorated trees with food and trinkets to honor nature and the gods.
Oh.
Oh. And they also
Wow.
had huge feasts. They would eat a ton of food and drink plenty of ale, and they were just celebrating surviving a harsh winter. They had the right idea. Just partying it up, really. Like that's lit.
It sounds like Vikings. Like, it sounds like something the Vikings would have made.
It was Norse. So,
It checks out. Hey, Norse people knew how to party.
yeah. In Rome and Scandinavia, they were just having a good time.
They were having a ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna lightly touch on a couple things that you said. I also found some things out about Saturnalia, which was celebrated by pagan Rome, which, as you have stated, was a festival of feasting, gift giving, and it was followed by Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, which translates to the birthday of the unconquered sun. I kind of ate that up. And that was celebrated on December 25th. And to kind of ease the transition to Christianity, the church placed Christmas on the same date. So it
Oh,
wasn't always tied to Jesus's birth. And that's something that I didn't know. Early Christians didn't even celebrate birthdays, but in the 4th century, the church saw an opportunity. So it was more a strategic move to co opt familiar customs and redirect the focus towards Jesus as the light of the world.
oh,
Yeah, so it's not like it's been completely fabricated, but it is not the original Christmas.
yeah.
So next we have the Nativity. So by the Middle Ages, the story of Jesus' birth became central to Christmas celebrations, and this shift kind of gave a rise to traditions like nativity scenes that were originally popularized by Saint Francis of Assisi in the 13th century. So not like super long ago. It is long ago, but it's like in the grand scale of things, that's not very long. And he staged the first live nativity in Grecio, Italy? Grecio? I'm going to say Grecio. And they used real animals and villagers to bring the story to life. And their goal was to make the story of Christ's birth accessible to ordinary people who couldn't read Latin or understand church services. And
Hmm.
over time, nativity plays became a common way for communities to celebrate, get together, enjoy each other's company, blending Christian themes and local folklore and customs, which is pretty cool. Even if you're not religious, that's pretty neat that like the origins of these things were to kind of just bring people together, and the fact that they did the nativity scenes, like live nativity scenes, is pretty neat. So Christmas wasn't always festive though. Early Christian celebrations were actually very quiet, and they were obviously very religious, and they focused more on prayer and reflection. However, as the holiday spread, it absorbed local pagan customs. For instance, the Germanic Yule traditions that you were talking about brought evergreen trees indoors, and it was a symbol of life in the winter because, back then winters were a lot tougher, right? They didn't have central heating and stuff like that. But they really enjoyed the feasting, the drinking, the gift giving, and all the hallmarks of Saturnalia, which, became part of the holiday. And by the time of the Middle Ages, Christmas was an amalgamation of Christian theology and pagan revelry, creating the rich tapestry that we kind of celebrate today. Now,
Hmm.
Christmas is a reminder of how traditions really evolve over time, and the church didn't erase pagan customs, it adapted them, creating a holiday that resonates across cultures. So, just the next time you put up your Christmas tree or you look at it or enjoy a festive feast or anything like that, you're participating in a tradition that's as much about ancient solstice celebrations as it is about nativity.
That's really cool. And churches
Yeah.
today, like the nativity scenes, have carried on because they still do like cute little plays at church. I don't go to church actively, so I don't actually know if they do, but I've seen it in movies.
I'm going to paint a little picture. Imagine it's 336 CE in the Roman Empire during the reign of Emperor Constantine. Christianity is growing, and for the first time, December 25th is officially recorded as the date of Christmas. So, the first recorded celebration of Christmas on December 25th wasn't random. Constantine, the first Christian emperor, wanted to unify his empire under Christianity. The choice of December 25th was significant because it aligned with the Roman festival of Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the unconquered sun, which symbolized Jesus as the light of the world. By blending Christian and pagan symbolism, Constantine made Christianity more relatable to converts while solidifying its place in Roman culture. As it spread across Europe, So did the celebration of Christmas, and each region added its own flair. And this is just kind of going over, I promise it's getting to the meat and potatoes. In Germanic lands, Yule traditions, like decorating the evergreen trees, were incorporated. In Celtic regions, feasting and bonfires symbolizing the return of the light became part of the festives. And over time, what became as a solemn religious holiday began to take on more celebratory customs, blending faith and local traditions. When you think about Christmas, right, there's usually maybe some figures that you think about. Tab, who do you think about?
Santa.
That's right. That's right. Santa. So let's talk about very briefly one of our most beloved Christmas figures, St. Nicholas. He was a 4th century bishop in Myra, modern day Turkey, and he was known for his generosity, secretly giving gifts to the poor and helping those in need. What a nice guy. One of the stories tells of him secretly providing dowries for 3 poor sisters to save them from being sold into slavery. W. St. Nicholas. So he
Mm.
became the patron saint of children, sailors, and women. And his legend spread throughout Europe. St. Nicholas became associated with Christmas. But here's the plot twist that you may not have been expecting. The original St. Nicholas didn't wear red. St. Nick, not a red guy. He didn't live at the North Pole, didn't hang out with the reindeer that we know of.
Did he have elves though?
You know, he was very against slavery, and I won't
Mm.
say that elves were slaves. I won't say that. But I'm going to assume he didn't induct slaves into his regiment.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But basically, that transformation happened much later thanks to 19th century American culture. So, spoiler alert. But there you have it. Constantine's decree to the rise of St. Nicholas. Everything that we know about the holidays is been Americanized. And I'll be so real. Us Americans don't know anything about history. We kind of just made shit up sometimes. We really did. I don't want to touch too much on Mr. Saint Nick, but he basically inspired Santa Claus, modern Santa Claus. So
Spoiler. We'll learn
yeah.
a little bit more about him soon. But yeah, so kind of diving into what you said about America, whenever Christmas had made it over to colonial America, the Puritans in roughly the mid 17th century, they suddenly decided that Christmas was way too rowdy and it was unchristian. So to them, it wasn't about Jesus, it was about the parties, drinking, and acting wild. So they were like, okay, nah, we can't have Christmas. This is crazy. In England, Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan government outlawed Christmas in 1647.
Oh, what a Grinch!
I swear, bah humbug.
For
Like,
real, Jesus,
the
literally.
churches, yeah, the churches were closed, decorations were taken down, and even eating a Christmas feast was discouraged.
What?
Yeah,
Nah, you're not stopping me.
I'm saying. But here's the kicker, right? It didn't really work. People kept celebrating in secret. In colonial America, the Puritans in places like Massachusetts took it a step further. If you celebrated Christmas, you could actually be fined. So they were really
Fine.
cracking down.
They were taking people's paychecks for celebrating Christmas?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Imagine you're like, ho ho ho. Oh, I can't wait to go to my friends. We're going to have a nice Friendsgiving. I'm going to see family, and I can't wait to give everyone something for the holidays. And then they're just like, bang bang bang. FBI, open up. Are you giving presents in here? Oh, here's a ticket. And you better be in court. Like, whoa.
This is unchristian of you to be celebrating Christmas. Like,
This just in, the North Pole has seen a large influx of criminals.
the criminals all go work as the elves.
Yeah, it's the community service.
Oh no. But okay, so here's a little like trivia for you, I guess. What do you think brought Christmas back? Who? Who do you think?
Who do I think brought Christmas back?
This is insane. I was not expecting this, but
Okay, give me a time period because it could be anyone.
19th century. So we're
19th century.
thinking
So recent,
ish.
past 200, 300
So the
years.
19th century is when it started coming back, but there was something that was published in 1843 that
Hmm.
kicked it.
1843. I'm gonna guess John Taylor, the 10th president of the United States.
No, it was actually Charles Dickens.
Oh, the Scrooge himself.
Yeah. Dickens, of course, wrote A Christmas Carol. And that was a huge reason why Christmas started making a comeback in the 19th century. Of course, it was published in 1843. It redefined Christmas as a time for family, generosity, and goodwill.
Whoa.
And it kind of kickstarted the iconic imagery of the snow covered streets, the warm fires, and Scrooge, his grumpy transformation to a holiday hero. Ultimately, Charles Dickens made Christmas feel magical again.
Wow, shout out Charles Dickens.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. Well, Tab, it's trivia time.
Hit me.
Okay, Christmas carols. We all love them or hate them. Depends on who you are. I'm not a big Christmas carols guy.
No.
What famous Christmas carol was written actually for Thanksgiving?
It's crazy because thinking about all of the common Christmas carols that we think of, none of them really fit Thanksgiving, at least as we know it today. But I'm gonna have to go with Jingle Bells.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. You're right. It was written in 1857, actually, a while ago, but not as long as I thought. And it was actually written for a Thanksgiving church choir performance.
Which is really interesting
I
because it's
think,
talking about winter. I mean, I guess it snows in November sometimes, but and sleigh, I guess a sleigh could be used objectively on any snow, no matter when it is. I don't know. I've always just associated sleigh talking about like Santa's sleigh.
oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Fair
If I'm
enough.
being so real, I've never really, dug into what the words in that song mean.
I haven't either. But it could make sense, I guess, because it really is just talking about snow and jingling bells. Let's talk about Christmas trees,
Let's do it.
because everybody loves a good. Actually, funny enough, I don't have a Christmas tree, and I
Wow,
don't know if I'll ever put one up. I
we
have
have a
cats.
fake one, but that's because I love putting up my little ornaments. I have a collection of ornaments that I've collected throughout being a kid. One of my favorite ones, my grandpa got me a Christmas ornament that says like first time driver and then the year I got my driver's license. And
Oh,
I was
that's
like, that's
cute.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a little thing of keys.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's probably the only reason that I put the tree up. If I'm being so real.
My cats would also probably destroy the tree. But anyways, Christmas trees. It's hard to imagine the holidays without one. But here's how the tradition started. Christmas trees actually originated in Germany. They started decorating them way back in the 16th century. So the story goes that devout Christians in Germany would bring evergreen trees, like you were talking about, into their homes to symbolize eternal life. And legend has it, Martin Luther was the first person to add candles to a tree after being inspired by the sight of stars twinkling through the evergreens. And I don't think it's Martin Luther who we think of when we think of Martin Luther.
I don't think so either. But maybe.
I
Maybe it's
mean,
a long
hey,
lost relative. Who knows?
power to him. But it was a fire hazard. But back then they didn't have electrical lights, so they had to work with what they had. Which leads me to how they also decorated the tree with apples, nuts, and even cookies. So that was crazy.
I have a cookie story.
Oh, cookie story.
Listen to the pre-show on Friday.
Facts. But here's a fun fact: the first artificial Christmas trees were not made of plastic. They were made of dyed goose feathers in Germany.
Whoa.
And then by the 19th century, Christmas trees were spreading beyond Germany, and that was thanks in part to Queen Victoria and Prince Albert when they put up a tree at Windsor Castle in the 1840s. And then that's when the tradition boomed. Everybody was like, yo, gotta have a tree. The royals have a tree. I gotta have a tree. Why
I
not?
couldn't imagine no electricity during Christmas specifically. Like I think it would look actually so barren because we are now, at least like American culture is so, we're so Americanized over here. It's insane. But thinking about it, we are so used to those colorful like blue and red and yellow lights all over the
Mm
place. And if we didn't have electricity, we wouldn't have that. Like that's just crazy to think about how like where we are now.
hmm. Mm hmm. The Christmas tree lights actually came about in the 1800s.
Oh,
Mm hmm.
really?
Yeah,
What'd they make them of?
I'm not super sure.
Let me see. I promise I won't go super duper into it. 1882 by Edward Johnson, which was a friend and business partner of Thomas Edison, where he hand wired 80 red, white, and blue light bulbs together and strung them around a Christmas tree in his parlor window, and a generator powered the lights and
Huh.
the tree's revolving pedestal. But the lights were very expensive, costing over $300.
Damn.
Yeah, and within 50 years, electric lights became a well established Christmas tradition and were mass produced. So there you go.
That's kind of cool.
But no, you're totally right. I didn't think. I don't know why I thought like electric. When I think about electricity, sometimes I'm like, man, electricity is brand new, but it's like 200 years old. It's not like I'm like, wow, back in the 1950s, they didn't even have electricity. Everything was black and white. Like,
Not black and white.
yeah, no, bro, we're so out of touch over here. I know I'm not crazy because I've talked to people about that, and like like at least the 1800s, 1900s, you, because pictures were black and white in the 1800s, you're more prone to think that was a much longer time ago and not have a frame of reference for things that were actually a very long time ago, because they are usually like statues and pieces of artwork and stuff like that that are in color. So your brain does this weird thing where it thinks the 1800s are actually much longer ago than some of these paintings that were painted hundreds of years ago. And I think that's really interesting. Anyways,
Hmm. That's kind of cool.
yeah. But so super quick. We're gonna talk a little bit more about Santa Claus and how he became this jolly little guy. Red suit. That was thanks to Coca Cola. That was their 1930s ad campaign that gave us the modern image of Santa, where he's all jolly, chubby, and dressed in red. And Christmas stockings go way back to Saint Nicholas because legend has it he left coins and shoes for those in need, which, from what we have heard about the guy, doesn't sound too far off or anything like that because, man, he was nice. And over time, that turned into hanging stockings on the fireplace for gifts. And yeah, that's literally all that we're going to get into as far as Santa. And you guys will hopefully put two and two together on why I'm not touching it.
Spoiler. But then let's dive into the food. And I specifically want to touch on two treats that we usually recognize as Christmas-y. So we can start with
Peeps.
eggnog. Peeps. Disgusting, first of all. But
I don't like Peeps, man.
yeah, let's.
I don't know what happened in my childhood, but I can't stand them.
Yeah, fuck Peeps. On God. But eggnog, different story. I actually can't recall a time where I had eggnog, to be so real with you. I have
Really?
tried it. I know that I have, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Not an eggnog guy?
I can't say that I crave it.
Mm. I had it about 5 days ago. I love eggnog.
It's truly a drink that either everyone loves or completely avoids.
Yeah, I understand. A lot of it has to do with like the thickness. Like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't like that it's thick, and then other people just don't like the taste. But some people do like it, and it's good to mix with like your whiskey.
Yeah, we'll get
Or
into
maybe
that.
that's weird.
No, it's not. It's actually common. So let's go to where it started. It started in England as a drink called, I want to say, Basset. It was made from hot milk, spices, and either ale or wine. The monks used it for toasting health and prosperity, but over time they started adding eggs and sugar, so it became a rich, creamy drink reserved for special occasions. And then it made its way to America. So people swapped out the wine for rum because, you know, the colonies and trade routes. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
we got the eggnog that we know today. So it's
Bro,
basically a medieval health drink that turned into a holiday classic.
I love me some nog.
I
I do. I love
need
the
to
nog.
taste test again to have a definitive answer on whether I like it or
I think
not.
it's one of those things. So like you wouldn't eat like okay, well maybe okay. Like you wouldn't normally eat like ketchup by itself,
No.
but like ketchup on things or using it as a dipping device or a some sort of flavor mechanism for something that you're eating. I don't know why I'm describing it like this, but like I feel like eggnog is good if you mix it with something.
Okay. That's
Yeah, so
probably why people mix it with like rum and whiskey and alcohols then.
maybe. Yeah. It's more so to just give it that like sweetness. But there's also like the eggnog I have just has alcohol in it, which I don't think that's normal, but I don't know. It's really good though. And you might have better luck if you get non-alcoholic eggnog and you mix it with something. Anyways, we're running long again. Did you know that in Japan, Christmas Eve is celebrated with KFC?
Oh,
Yeah, it's so popular that you have to pre-order your chicken weeks in advance.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Japan loves their chicken.
That's insane. So the last thing I want to hit on, gingerbread. How can we forget gingerbread houses? So Brothers Grimm, obviously the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel, the candy-covered witch house. That was a huge hit in the early 1800s. And the German bakers were like, okay, yeah, fuck it. Let's make gingerbread houses for Christmas. So that turned into a holiday tradition, interestingly enough. And in Germany, gingerbread isn't just for houses, they also make intricate gingerbread cookies called Lebkuchen, perhaps. And they're often shaped like hearts and decorated with icing, which I can vouch. I want to say I've actually had this before, and they're pretty
Really?
fucking good.
I wonder if I've had it. 'Cause I can't recall anything like that.
My boyfriend's mom is German, so I've been well acquainted with German treats. But I have one question to wrap it all up.
Okay.
What's your favorite Christmas treat?
Oh man, favorite Christmas treat is tough. You know those cakes that are like multiple different flavors? There's like two slices of each.
Yes.
It's like some of it's like cheesecake, and then you have the Oreos, cookies and cream, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that I like that.
My favorite Christmas treat has to be peppermint bark. The chocolate with the little peppermint pieces in it.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It's so good.
I don't usually like the peppermint by itself, but with chocolate sounds really good. I change it. I'm changing my answer. The pretzel sticks, the big like the thick pretzel sticks that are covered in chocolate with a little bit of the drizzle on it.
Okay, yeah.
I love those. Those
Those
are
are
really
good.
good. I think I was gaslighting myself because I actually don't remember the last time I saw one of those cakes with multiple different flavors for Christmas. And I think I was just telling myself that I believe that that happened. But I change it. I love pretzels because I can't have salt. So pretzels are a really good way for me to have little pieces, like a little amount of salt, and still be really happy. I can have salt, but like I'm prone to it because kidney stones.
Fair.
But yeah, that is Christmas.
From Saturnalia to Santa Claus, Christmas has transformed over centuries into the festive holiday we know today. But its history is just as magical as the season itself.
And whether you celebrate with trees, gifts, or KFC, Christmas reminds us of how traditions evolve and connect us.
And now it's your turn, listeners. What is your favorite holiday tradition, treat, or fun fact? Let us know in the comments below or on any of our socials that you can find in the description on whatever platform you're listening on.
And thank you so much for joining us for the holidays on this very festive bonus episode of Midnight Oil. And I hope you guys have a happy holiday. And we're going to see you on Friday for some
Ho ho
redacted Christmas.
ho ness.
Shout out to Zaid, Dakota, and Cameron for being on the Patreon. Day ones, we appreciate it. And we are actually going to be putting out some more content for you guys very soon. So make sure you at least sign up for the free version of the Patreon. And if you get to this point in the episode, go to our Instagram and comment on one of the posts. Say Christmas turtle. Just something really random. And if you're listening, you might get something. But have a happy holidays, and we'll see you guys on Friday. Nighties!
Good night.